And so they're all taking pay cuts.
I mean, how's this for statistics? 25,000 people in Londonderry, I think it was 10 or 13%, I forget what the number was, of them are union workers. So all the rest of us have to pay for their raises while we're, as you said before, get nothing.
My point is,
well,
I know that they're taking a pay cut, is my point.
And I would like to point out that because that statistic is that high, because the highest employer in our town is the school district. And I would argue that you get a huge value for those pay increases on the school district side, but,
You have to be
I have a
very
personal
careful.
point. Yeah, I have a personal
You have to be
interest in
very
that.
careful
So,
with
But
that.
by the
do-
same token, we're all in this together.
Exactly.
right,
And
we are.
And
We are.
I mean,
You can't start singling unions
Yeah,
or this or that. You
and-
can't do it.
Okay.
what we need to do is, number one, we need to get a contract with our town employees. They're still working off of an old contract. We need to get that resolved.
Well,
Then
did you
we-
see what happened with the firefighters, though? It took 3 years, I believe, for them to get
understand, but-
a
Yep.
contract. So I think the town is
We-
starting finally to play hardball.
We need to play, but we need to be fair, not so much, I mean, we both have to work together. And I've worked with a lot of the town employees. Believe me, some of them, they really go the extra mile. But we need to get that resolved, one way or another. So then we can all move forward, because it's going to take all of us to get through this time period. And as Sean says, we don't know how long it's going to last.
No, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, I don't think our government really understands it. And I think it's going to take time. It's not going to end tomorrow as everybody would like. I don't care how much money you throw at it. I just don't think you can spend your way out of debt.
Well, can I just add my part of this? I think that, and I agree with Tammy with what you're saying as far as not attacking the unions. And I don't think it's attacking the unions. I think part of the problem is we need to look for our leadership, for our state reps, and that is to fix the retirement system. Because I can tell you right now, I won't be retiring at, what I wanted to retire at, especially after the money I just lost. But we're all there.
People in
We're all
State
there
House
together.
retire, there we are.
But again, I guess what I'm trying to say is you really do have to fix the retirement part of it. And until you do that, you're going to be looking at these contracts going way up.
Mary,
It's not so, to me, it's not so much the salaries with unions, it's the benefit part at the end when they retire. That's the part I have the problem with.
Okay.
just to rebuttal what you said earlier, a few seconds. I don't try to take people's paychecks away. Okay, I'm not trying to say that they don't deserve a good salary for the hard work that they do every day. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that I do a good job too. I work real hard myself, and all I'm trying to say is that in this type of economy, that those raises they could say, you know what, I don't want to have my raise this year. If they voted that, that could make the decision for the the higher ups, so they can actually look at that. But right now, there's such a giant difference between private organizations and union organizations that I think it's just
I
tough
think
for
you're going to
us.
see that
That's
come
all.
together very quickly.
And I think the problem becomes when you have the union people feel as though, in the private sector certainly, I believe, that the upper ups have really taken advantage of the whole thing and wasted an awful lot of their money. So they feel they deserve whatever they can get out of their,
Yep.
so as a collective
Thanks for the perspective, though.
bargaining.
Yep.
But I wanted to ask one more question before I give you an opportunity to close and ask for the folks' votes. I know Tammy's going, last question.
I'm going to start with
On the
Joel.
school side,
Get it over with. Vote for me. we're
He's
done.
almost done his book.
on the school side, we vote for the budget on Election Day. And, as on the town side, we have two town meetings, the first day, Election Day, and then the following Saturday. Would you support changing our system so that we only have one town meeting day?
Absolutely. I absolutely support
Because that's
that.
when you get the majority of the voters to go.
Yes.
You're not talking about SB2, are you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I vote every election. I've
Too much
never
talking
missed one.
going on.
I've seen you.
But you know what? For the town meetings, when we first came here, it cost me $50 and a babysitter. I spoke for 3 minutes on the budget, and then the guy behind me said, "Oh, let's move the question." So we spent 3 to 5 minutes talking about the budget. Then the poor library chick wanted some money. She wanted $5,000, and we talked about that for like 45 minutes.
Clarissa, I
Yes.
remember
sit
that.
I'm sure you
You
do.
know, we actually have.
I know.
we-
So
Be careful
I,
naming names on cable.
no,
we
that one I just remember because I made the effort to go, and I made sure I had a babysitter, and it was in the middle of a snowstorm, and I went, and I got, as far as I can tell, I wish that we could have just voted for it on that Tuesday,
You would have had your say.
You know,
it equally, and I wouldn't have been out $50.
Mary,
I agree with
we have a
Chris.
litmus test on that. We have a litmus test on that, the Senate Bill 2, SB 2 from Wyndham. In 1999, March 9th, they actually switched to SB 2. And so we actually have neighbors right next to us that have loved the process
Oh, yeah.
and can't believe that we ever were in the Stone Age of the process that they used to have,
Well,
which
then the
was
whole
ours.
community
So-
can speak.
I
What a
agree
vote.
with Chris and Joe that
Yeah.
we need to move this way because too many times on election day, things are voted on or voted down by the majority
Right.
of the town and then turn right around at town meeting and 100 people vote it back in. That's not fair to the people that
That voted.
got out there and voted on election day.
It's true.
And it's, in today's world, it is very difficult
It's
for
backwards.
everybody to get to town meeting.
It's
And
it's
if
true.
everybody did show up,
And there's so many people
we would
working
need a
on
lot
Saturdays.
bigger
It's such a
room.
backwards
Yep.
attitude.
And the kids, and that's the other thing too. The kid, even like last night, the chief's, we get the deliberative session, chief's retirement. I know there was something going on.
I'm sure there was something at the school,
Yeah,
some sports
I mean, so it
events.
is tough. It's tough to compete against that. Whereas if you have a chance just to go and vote, you're in there, you place your, you take your ballot, you pick what you want to vote on.
And someone's
Yes,
retired
no,
from
up,
budget
down.
meeting.
You get all
and
day
that's
to do it. You get from
Yeah.
the 7 till 8 at night, so you can schedule your day.
Right.
You can't
Somebody
schedule your
Right.
day around the town meeting.
Okay, so why don't we go this way this time for our final comments? Okay, so we are about wrapping it up here on It's Your Choice. We paused a moment to switch tape so that we could continue on, but I do have 2 questions that are directly from audience members. The first is, and I want to read it, verbatim. Given that personnel costs, salaries and benefits represent the largest percent of the town's budget and annual increases to taxpayers each year, what actions would you take as a town councillor to reduce that expense? Dana, why don't we start with you?
I think I'd have to rely on the town manager and work with him. That is his job. That's what we hired him to do, is to control the personnel, their expenses. So I would have to lean very heavily on him. We have, as a counselor, we give him a budget that he needs to stay within, and that's where we need to go.
So you favor a bottom line budget and however
Yes.
you can,
Yeah.
however you can deal with that?
Yep.
Okay.
I think
Just jump in, guys. I just.
Okay.
I
That's a
agree.
good answer. That was a really good answer.
I wasn't gonna this time.
I think it goes back to having a look over everything. You have to look at everything individually and see where the savings can be made. I've sat at home for a few years and I watch the town meetings, the budget meetings, and all the things that go on. You know what? The first thing somebody stands up and says as soon as you tell them they can save a couple of dollars, might be a council member, might be a resident, somebody will stand up and go, well, what could we spend that on? That's one of the things you got to stop. And it happened Monday. You heard it. Somebody said, oh, well, if we save that, maybe we could spend it on some other. Well, no, don't spend it.
all that-
Don't.
Yeah. Well, I
But you
think
have to look at each thing
I
individually.
think, when we did cover a little bit of that, I think when you talk about retirement part of that, I think that's really a key place to start. I mean, we need to put the pressure on our state reps to get that done. Again, it's a work in progress, but they have to do something. The system's breaking, it's collapsing on itself. I've been saying that for 3 years, and I think everybody else has realized it, but that's where it needs to start, first and foremost. And I respectfully disagree with you as far as putting it on Dave. as a counselor, you are 1/5, and it really should be your direction as a counselor to be able to tell him where to go and what to give.
I disagree with that. It is not particularly